back to another CSR2 video. I'm here with Supersport Syndicate, and I'm on race 32 out of 40. So we're getting to the end here where things are supposed to get more difficult. Up to this point, it's been relatively simple to get through the challenges, including with the cars that I have. That's partly because I was running them fully maxed. What I've done now is actually reduce each car to one or two of the strongest stage 6s. They're all running about 8.4 to 8.6 range. Some cars are stronger than others. For example, the Gamera is about 8.6 on the dyno with just one stage 6, that being the strongest one, which is body, and of course full fusions. And I'm just trying to see and gauge how difficult this event really is if you were trying to push through. Now, obviously, we do expect these events to be somewhat difficult because, you know, natural motion has to get some resources out of you, so you have to build these cars. Now, with Koenigsegg particularly, and also Pagani, 3 Koenigsegg's, that's a lot of fusions. So if you're talking about using these cars to get through, but you're having problems with epic fusions, you're going to have to get more stage 6s. The Gamera, fortunately, really favors its body, engine, and trans, all 3 of which are pretty strong. And actually, body, engine, and NOS are the top 3. So that would be pretty good. The Agera RS really likes nitrous for some reason. It's a big dependent car on nitrous because you need it to push this car into the faster runs. So S6 nitrous is pretty critical for this car. And if you have that, life will be a lot easier. As you can see, with nitrous and body being the installed stage 6s on this car, I'm cruising through these final challenges so far. And up to this point, I think all stage 5 cars with full fusion would make it, or car with strong stage 6 and missing some epic fusions should be able to make it. Here we go. This one might be a little more challenging, but I doubt it. This is a fast sprinting car, so no real issue there either. 1.085. Now, the Agera RS, believe it or not, is actually, if set up properly with enough fusions, it's actually really good for Tempest 3. The problem is, of course, building it just for Tempest with Koenigsegg fusions, you're kind of wasting the resources. I would save that for a good car all around, for example, the Jesco Draco Red, or you put it towards the Regera or the Gamera instead. Now, the Huayra BC, it's the same way. The problem with this car is that while it's really good, it's not really good in live racing as much anymore. So it's more or less just a map car / event car. Again, with 2 stage 6s installed, this car is quite quick in the 8.5, 8.4 range. The dyno is actually 8.48. I'm just not driving it that well. But again, with the opponents only running 11s, up to this point, I can actually run stage 5 only cars and make it through this event with full fusions. Up to this point, let's see if they do escalate the final 3 races or not. Usually that's where things get a little more interesting, is when the final races come in. Okay, so this car is strong in 3rd gear, so I did a quick second, third for the 0 to 60. As you can see, pretty good 0 to 60. Again, I'm feeling almost like I can get away with this without stage 6s, although this might be a little trickier without any stage 6. But still, the opponent's so much slower that it's not even really a challenge. And we're up to race 38. A relay of this nature, again, 2-car relays, unless these are super fast, and looking at the points here, they're not fully maxed either. You see how these numbers are coming out? My numbers are actually higher, so I definitely have faster cars. That is why it's telling me it's going to be easy. And when it says it's going to be easy, it's really, really easy. I mean, you're going to blow away these guys big time. So let's go ahead and do that. So all in all, this event, I guess, would be sort of a gimme for older players. I mean, we're going to have cars that are very well built, and I'm just cruising through these 40 races, and in fact, it just showed me it got even easier after that first race because the first car ran well and gave me an even greater gap than what the computer was expecting. So now I cannot fail. I mean, unless I stay in first gear or something, I really cannot fail on this race. There it is. Okay, so that's done. So now we're on the final 2 races. I mean, if they were going to escalate something, they better do it now because we're running out of options here to escalate the races for me to get stopped. So far there has been no hurdle that's really challenging. And this one doesn't look like it's going to be that bad either. This one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip to the higher gears and then run it straight up like this. And boom, done. Now, that did require 2 stage 6s. I think if you're missing fusions or stage 6s, this might become a little more challenging. But don't forget, I haven't even tuned the car yet for speed trap. I could probably lower the tire to something like 46 or 53, 47, and it would definitely be able to make this without much of an issue. And that's it. I mean, we're going to finish this event really without trying too hard. I mean, I almost want to say, full stage 5 cars tuned properly, tweaked for certain challenges may even make it. But it's really an easy event, relatively speaking. But again, if 3 cars are Koenigsegg fusions and you're missing tons of fusions, definitely try to leverage some stage 6s. In the grand scheme of things, what you need to understand is that fusions, particularly the ones that goes to the parts that are important, such as transmission body, and gives a lot of evo points, they can end up being way more important than a stage 6 with no fusions added. Okay, a stage 6 with no fusions can add some performance, but usually not enough. So missing too many fusions will stop you from completing any event. It doesn't matter what car you have. Those fusions are critical to good performance of a car, and that's any car in the game. So in some sense, it's almost more important to have full fusions, even if you're missing some stages, than having full stages, fully maxed car missing fusions. From live racing to event racing, fusions becomes critical for you to make it all the way through. So, all right, here we go. And that's even true when you're taking on the initial bosses, like when you first start the game and you're building cars. You might be wondering, well, I have fully maxed car with all stage 5s on this T1. Why is it so bad? Fusions. Each of those fusions can drop a substantial amount of performance deficit that you have and make your car a lot faster and allow you to beat the boss. So in the end, one of the key mistakes new players make is they try to max the stages, ignore the fusions, and hope that their car with those stages would somehow magically get tuned. That's another point to note, is that you can't even tune the car without fusions. There's very little margin of tuning. So this game revolves around fusions. It is one of the hardest things to get a lot of, but it is one of the critical items for any car to perform at all. So fusions, fusions, fusions. And then stage 6 is with fusions. So that's it. We just finished the event. We're going to collect the car. I would say this is definitely on the easier side of any event, but because the fusions are Koenigsegg fusions and Pagani fusions, not easy for new players. If you're starting off with 3 fresh cars trying to fusion them and run through this event, I would say this is actually quite a difficult event. But for most of us who have plenty of fusions and parts for these particular cars already, very easy event to get through. The Chiron Super Sport, nothing to write home about. This is basically a copy of the Chiron Super Sport 300 in the game already. Natural Motion isn't going to worry about redesigning every little shift point and evo point values on a car like this when it's already in the game in a different format, and it's very easy to just make the body, digitize that in, and then generally make the car very similar and it makes some sense too that they're somewhat similar, but nonetheless, it also makes the car less efficient for live racing or useful for live racing because as cool as the car is in real life, this car is only right now so-so for live racing or other uses in the game. It is actually a good car if you build it. It's pretty fast, 6.9 second car for the purpose of blowing through map stuff. If that's what you're into and you want this particular car to be that car, yes, you could build it for that purpose. And it can be tuned to beat Dyno by quite a bit, so it makes map stuff very easy if Bugatti stuff ever comes up. Well, in any case, that is the final runs on the event that I just went through to win the Chiron Super Sport. So the Supersport Syndicate overall is a relatively easy event. You get a pretty cool car as a result, but not a car that I would recommend you dive into building right away, especially if you're shorter on fusions. I hope you liked the video. I hope you like seeing the final runs, and let me know what you think. If you like the video, leave a like. If you like my channel, subscribe, hit the bell, and you get notifications when I put up new videos. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.